Hey, all my Taurus friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your February 2025 monthly horoscopes. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about Taurus, I'm referring to Taurus rising as dictating the landscape of the chart. This is also applicable to Taurus moon and Taurus sun, but the landscape and the house structure will be different. Um, when I talk about a day and a time, I'm referring to the Pacific time zone. So please adjust for your location. This year of 2025 is pivotal in so many ways. We're going to see outer planets shift into air signs and fire signs, and that shifts the energy into very quick movement. We've been experiencing the outer planets in Earth and in water, and that's a much denser energy, much more uh, five senses type energy. And as we move into the air and fire, we're going to start to feel that sixth sense, that connection to the universal energies and our co-creation within them. So this is a powerful time. During the month of February, first we'll see a full moon on the 12th at 24 degrees of Leo. Leo is your fourth house of home. It's going to be conjunct Mercury. Mercury rules our childhood, our siblings, our cousins, our childhood, grammar school experience, as well as media, news, journalism. It rules our emails, our communications of all kind, our daily activities. There'll be some kind of illumination that takes place. I will be doing a separate video for that full moon. The new moon will happen in Pisces at 9 degrees on the 27th at 4:44 a.m. This will be part of a stellium of planets that is going to be very powerful for planting the seeds of connection to your inner voice and to be able to hear the divinity within you. Some of the main aspects that'll happen this month is Jupiter will go direct in Gemini, and it will be stationing at 11 degrees from the 1st of February all the way through the 24th. So that 11 degrees is very powerful because the 11th degree is the master degree of thought. The master number of thought. When you see a series of ones, your angels are telling you to be aware of your thoughts because they're manifesting very quickly. And the 11th degree also represents the Aquarian degree, which is one of freedom and liberation from anything that's restricting me. And Jupiter, while it is in detriment in Gemini, and Gemini is technically your second house of your self-worth, your value, your voice, and the house you naturally rule. So while Jupiter is technically in detriment, this to me is very much about an energy of combining the bigger ideologies and beliefs and thoughts that I have with my everyday activities and being mindful of my everyday thought. There's an integration here. Mars stations at 17 degrees from the 11th of February through March 8th. Mars has been retrograde in Cancer, where it is in fall and doesn't feel very respected, doesn't feel like its voice is heard. And this journey Mars has had through Cancer is really about addressing the angers and frustrations and resentments that have stemmed from the maternal experience, the nurturing experience, the home experience, and even the experience of our homeland and our country of origin. This Cancer is your third house, so this really probably will be more focused on your personal childhood experience and how it shaped your thoughts. Today is February 3rd. I've been a little bit under the water with so many things, so I haven't been able to keep my schedule the way I'd like to. So I'm going to backtrack about what happened on the 1st and influence the first couple of days of February. Neptune, Venus, and the North Node have all come into a conjunction at 28 degrees of Pisces. Again, this is a very pivotal type of degree because it's representing the mastering of energies. I believe that the three, what we call deacons in astrology represent sort of like the first 10 degrees represent a newness and a learning. The second 10 degrees represent sort of that teenage energy of stretching and exercising the energies and practicing them. And then the last 10 degrees represent that mastering of the degrees. And here we're looking at mastering things on an intuitive level while also being aware of my thoughts. So I think this is super powerful. And this goes on. Neptune and the North Node will be conjunct at about 28 degrees. Yes, all month long, because the North Node will then retrograde. So it'll stay at 28 degrees. Obviously, the South Node is as well. On the 4th, I'm going to pull up the chart now. Venus will move into Aries. Aries is your 12th house. And this is Venus is going to get to about 10 degrees of Aries before she retrogrades in March. So this is Venus technically in detriment. Let me get to the 4th. Sorry, I meant to move the calendar. Venus is, I'm not so sure anymore about Venus being in detriment, because we see the feminine energy evolving over the last few decades, especially the awareness of the receptive energy, the creative energy, the co-creative energy. When any planet is at 0 degrees of Aries, it's literally on the most powerful creative degree of the whole zodiac, because it is the inception of the soul entering the physical to co-create an experience and thereby feel its power, feel its influence, and literally feel its creation. So here is Venus, and she's up against the North Node, wanting to create from a very spiritual place, from a soul's yearning and a soul's desire. So incredibly powerful for me. And I think the sextile to Pluto supports that. Pluto is currently transiting Aquarius, and that is your 10th house of career. We see that the wheel happens to be on your first house. Okay, let's go now. We see that Mars is at 19 degrees, squaring Chiron. Mars Mars will go direct at the end of the month. Mars is going to go all the way back to 17 degrees. The square here is about the self versus the self within the home. How your independent thought, what it is you wanted for yourself, how your individual characteristics and traits were either supported or, not supported. And I think that is a tension and a push and a pull that actually helps liberate you on some level, which is what Uranus has been doing in your first house since like 2017. But the support comes from Saturn in your 11th house, giving you a historic review on some level. And the review is coming from Mars. And then using that to build upon, to support your hopes and your dreams, again, through your connection to spirit and your willingness to move beyond this sort of the earthly senses and move into those intuitive senses that connect you to a deeper part of your truth and of who you are. Chiron and Mars will square each other for the whole month of February. So that's playing in the background. And again, Mars is not in a strong energy, but I do think that Uranus in your first house, and Uranus is stationed at 23 degrees for the whole month, all the way till March. Uranus started stationing retrograde in December, on December 19th, 2024, and it continues through until March 12th, 2025. So this is really a deep standing in the sky at this Aquarian degree with the ruling planet of Aquarius wanting to be liberated and to be freed from anything that has held it back. Okay, on the 14th, on the 14th, no, I'm sorry, let me go to the 10th, where Mars is squaring, I'm sorry, Uranus is squaring Mercury and the Sun. And this is, again, this is your 10th house. And the 10th house is one of public image and public status. It's a house of leadership, traditionally ruled by Capricorn. So you could be very aware of how your personal evolution and the things that you have liberated yourself from may create tensions with your public reputation initially, because people are used to Taurus being steady and being sort of dependable and practical. All the earth signs are on some level, with Taurus being really the slowest mover, the one that likes the most tradition and the most dependability and the most, reliability is actually a better word, reliability. So they can know how somebody's going to emote or how they're going to be. And here I think that this is your personal liberation sort of being on the in the public eye because of new ways of thinking, new ways of projecting yourself, or new ways of responding to things. Feels very individualistic to me, and yet it feels very supportive for your future. On the 14th, Mercury will enter Pisces, and on the 18th, we have an early Pisces beginning. The sun will move into Pisces. Now we see Venus is starting to slow her roll because she's going to retrograde at 10 degrees. And I think this is important because we can start to see the stellium growing in power. We will see, as I said, that new moon at the end of the month. So we will have the moon, the sun, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, all in Pisces. The awareness of this is important because it's going to be very polarizing. On some level, to me, it brings up a lot of history and a lot of things that have made me feel invisible and unseen and potentially a little bit isolated. But yet there is the potential, when we're brave, to step into a whole new spiritual dynamic of what that period of time served, and now allow that to be the launching pad for growth and for being seen. This 10th house is super powerful because you're going to experience a total transformation in your public image and how you perceive it. It could be things like you could go from being single to getting married, you could have children, you could launch a career that's futuristic involving technology or the internet or, humanity in many ways. But whatever it is, the potential for others to see that happening is big. And you're embracing your authentic truth, Taurus. Your authentic evolution is so powerful for not just you, but for others. If you think about Taurus, while it is, where it represents the bull plows the fields, it's a beast of burden in many ways. It's also something where you are naturally a grower. You're naturally predisposed to be able to plant something in the ground and have the faith and the willingness to nurture it into its strength and into its solidness. So this is all about your creativity and your divinity being birthed into the physical, starting on a level that you can't see with anything physical. All right, let's go to the 22nd of the month, where Mercury's just been booking through Pisces, and we see it now in a conjunction or growing conjunction with Saturn. This will be exact on the 20th, but we're starting to feel the influence of it now. Again, I'm harping on it, but the convergence of these planets are very powerful, even if Venus is in your 12th house, technically. And that's your self-worth. She rules your whole chart. She rules the house with which yourself, your perception is point of entry, how you see things. So having enough money, having enough food on the table, having warm, cozy things around you to support your physical sustainability is best birthed through this new dynamic of going through your soul and your spiritual connection through meditation, through discipline of the mind, being aware of your history and yet not letting it hold you hostage. That H sort of Saturn sort of looks like an H, a lowercase h to me, with the top of here being a cross representing divinity. Jesus died on the cross. So that just hit me in a crazy way. Saturn evolved because Saturn's either going to show up in that old energy of repression and depression, or it's going to show up in a way that brings you into that space of knowing that God is watching over you in a way that if something moves out, something better is moving in. Okay, now we go to the 24th, and Mars moves direct, again, stationing until March at that 17th degree. Go to the 24th. I'm telling you, Mars is looking forward to getting out of Cancer. It's been in Cancer for quite some time, and it does feel so the review that Mars is required to do has a lot to do with how it processes the emotions. Where's my cursor? The emotions of the Cancer energy. And we see that supported now by Mercury being almost exact here, probably exact the day before. But this is a continued support of this holding station at 17 degrees. That's the Leo degree of coming from my heart and having the courage to do that. We do see that there is a, hold on, need to make a little note to myself because I made a boo-boo there. That trine, to me, is not completely as harmonious a trine as it could be, because what it does is it brings a surrender and an understanding. I don't know that it brings, a sense of harmony just yet. That, I think, is something we're working through as we start to, as Neptune and Saturn come into a conjunction, and the North Node will be there, but these two planets are going to strongly travel together and move into Aries. And when they do that next month, it's going to be very powerful at that 0 degree, and then they're going to retrograde back. So we're teeing up for that awareness of transforming my physical human history as represented by Saturn through the spiritual lens of Neptune versus escaping it and trying to mask it, and the more challenging sides of feeling lost. Okay, on the 27th, we'll have a new moon, as I said, in Pisces at 9 degrees. I will cover that in a separate video. So now I'm going to go to the 28th, which is the last day of February. And you could just see the power that's happening in your 10th and 11th houses. There's such a concentration of energy in, I'm sorry, did I say your 10th and 11th houses? Your 11th and 12th houses. I apologize. The wheel has changed. So the Pisces being your house of your hopes and your dreams of moving into the future. The moon at this time is conjunct Saturn. This is like, you literally, it only lasts for maybe an hour, but this is really emotional awareness of my story. And now the opportunity is to allow for the transformation of that, to allow for the awareness that sometimes the dark spots in our life make the color pop, and they become the inspiration for change. So I think that's what's really going on in the month of February, is an awareness that the things that have historically tethered us to one dynamic are compelling us at this point to allow for the transformation of them, and not to push up on things that have historically been erosive and toxic and not expansive and inspiring. All right, that's it for me for February of 2025. Again, this is a pivotal year. It's when so many of the outer planets will be changing signs, and the energy is going to change dramatically and accelerate. The timeline will feel much quicker when we see the planets moving into the air signs, like Uranus moving into Gemini, and now Pluto being in Aquarius, and then of course Neptune entering Aries, which it hasn't been since the 1882 or something like that. All right, my Tauruses, thank you so much for joining. Please like, please subscribe, please share. And if you are so inspired, on Wednesday this week, the 5th of February, from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, I will be answering your questions live here on YouTube. You'll be able to pose a personal question, and I will do a tarot card reading for you. It'll be on a first come, first serve basis, and those that donate through the super chat or through super thanks will move to the head of the class. All right, everybody, I love you. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.